Welcome to the battlefield of the two knights' defense, one of the sharpest and most dangerous openings in chess. In this video, we'll uncover the deadliest traps for white, secrets that can shock your opponents and win games in just a few moves. Whether you're a beginner learning clever tricks or a seasoned chess lover searching for new opening weapons, these traps will sharpen your game and give you the winning edge. The game begins. We advance our pawn to e4. Black answers with pawn to e5. We bring out our knight to f3, and black mirrors with knight to c6. But now, the trap begins. We place our bishop on c4, eyeing the enemy king's weakest point. Black boldly develops their knight to f6, and here we strike. Our knight leaps to g5, threatening destruction. Black pushes pawn to d5, trying to fight back. We capture with pawn takes d5, and suddenly, their knight recaptures on d5. But now, the sacrifice. Our knight storms into f7 with a devastating blow. The enemy king is forced to capture, a fatal mistake. And here comes the execution. Our queen slides to f3 with check. The king flees to g8. We bring our bishop crashing to d5, another check. The queen is dragged in to block, but it's already too late. We exchange queens with queen to d5. Queen takes. The enemy believes they've survived. But then, the final move, our queen glides to e6, delivering checkmate. The king is trapped, the battle is over, and the two knights' defense has fallen into our deadly snare. Our next trap is a brilliant attack, ending with white winning material after a series of powerful blows. We have pawn to e4, pawn to e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to c4, and knight to f6. Our knight leaps forward to g5, threatening the heart of their defenses. Black tries to push pawn to d5, fighting back. We capture with our pawn, and their knight rushes in to recapture. But now, the sacrifice. Our knight crashes into f7, dragging the enemy king out into the open. The king is forced to take, but this is only the beginning. Our queen glides to f3 with check. Black desperately blocks with their queen. We bring our bishop to d5. Check again. The enemy tries to shield by pushing their bishop to e6, but we strike mercilessly. Our bishop captures on c6. Their pawn takes back, and then comes the killing blow. Our queen descends to c6, and the black position collapses. Their king is exposed, their defense is shattered, and victory belongs to us. Next, we have a sharp two knights defense trap where white uses early aggression to trap black's pieces. We open with pawn to e4, pawn to e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to c4, and knight to f6. Here, we strike boldly. Our pawn pushes to d4, a fierce challenge to their center. Black greedily captures with their knight, hoping for quick advantage. But we continue with pawn to e5, kicking their knight and seizing space. Black tries to counter with bishop to c5, aiming at our position. And now, the trap is revealed. Our queen slides to d5, a deadly move, threatening both their bishop and their most vulnerable point near the king. The battlefield shifts instantly. Black is caught in our web, their defenses collapsing before the storm. This is the power of precision in the two knights' defense. One bold queen move, and the game is ours. Our next trap is one of the most dramatic in the two knights' defense, where white lures black into overextending and then strikes with precision. We begin with pawn to e4, pawn to e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to c4, and knight to f6. Our knight leaps to g5, threatening destruction. Black pushes pawn to d5, a bold challenge. We capture with our pawn, and their knight strikes back to d5. But we do not retreat. We advance pawn to d4, and when black pushes pawn to f6, we thrust forward with pawn to e5, driving their knight away. The knight lashes out on e5, but we answer with bishop takes knight. Black, in desperation, pushes pawn to g5, and we calmly castle to safety, preparing the final blow. Their bishop lunges to d6, but then the queen joins the battlefield. Our queen slides to h5 with deadly intent. Black pushes pawn to g6, trying to hold, but the defenses collapse as our queen captures on g5. Queens are exchanged, and at last, our bishop recaptures on g5, standing tall in victory. This is the trap of the two knights defense. Sacrifice, pressure, and flawless execution, leaving black broken defeated. Now let's check out one of the most explosive traps in the two knights defense, where white lures black into a false sense of safety and then strikes with a brilliant attack. We start with pawn to e4, pawn to e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to c4, and knight to f6. And here, the storm breaks. Our knight leaps to g5, eyeing their weakest point. Black pushes pawn to d5, we strike it down with our pawn. Their knight captures back, and now the sacrifice. Our knight dives into f7, tearing open their defenses. The king is forced to capture, but now our queen charges to f3 with check. The king stumbles forward to e6. We develop with knight to c3, and when their knight jumps to b4, our bishop calmly retreats to b3. Black pushes pawn to c6. We answer with pawn to a3, driving their knight back to a6. Now comes precision. We strike with knight to d5, forcing open the center. Their pawn takes back. We push pawn to d4, seizing control. They try pawn to e4, but our queen slides to e4 with check. The king is dragged to f6, and here the final assault begins. Our queen drops to h4, another check. They push pawn to g5, desperately clinging to life. But it's already over. Our bishop crashes through with bishop takes g5, and black is finished. Last but not least is a crushing trap in the two knights defense, where black makes the mistake of moving the knight to the edge, and white punishes immediately with sharp tactical play. We have pawn to e4, pawn to e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to c4, and knight to f6. We strike with pawn to d4, attacking the center. Black captures with their pawn, but we recapture with our knight, seizing control. Their knight jumps to d4, hoping to fight back, but we answer with queen to d4, keeping the pressure. Black pushes pawn to d6, trying to defend, but then comes the blow. Our bishop slashes to h6, sacrifice. Their pawn is forced to take, and suddenly, our queen swoops into h8. The rook falls. The enemy's defenses are shattered, and the game is already lost. This is the deadly punishment when black misplays the two knights defense. One careless move, and we strike without mercy. If you enjoyed discovering these two knights defense traps, don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe for more chess opening secrets, and ring the bell so you never miss a chance to outsmart your opponents. Drop a super thanks or become a channel member to support the channel. Every move you make helps us bring you more high-impact chess content. Check out our other videos on chess traps, strategies, and grandmaster games to keep leveling up your play. Until next time, keep learning, keep playing, and keep winning.